Okay, trasmetti, and I think we are, live now.
Hello and welcome everyone to our 53rd webinar, but it's not only the 53rd webinar, it's also our Christmas special. So welcome everyone in our solar system and beyond. And we wish you all a nice Christmas time, a beautiful Christmas time, peace and above all, peace. We are here together and from our board and members of SRI, and I'm really glad that you have come to join us, and I would like to welcome everyone here in the Zoom meeting and also in YouTube. Thank you for joining us, and welcome Bernard. He's our president, and I will give you immediately the floor, but I would like also to welcome Adriano, because as I mentioned, it's our 53rd webinar, so it means that more than 2 years we are running this. And thanks, Adriano, it was always without more or less problems. And he solved really, really many problems in the last moment. And he is very supportive in this webinar series. And when I had this idea, I didn't believe that we will do it for so long time. And I'm really glad that we are still here. And we have taken this platform for our outcome. And yeah, Bernard, I would like to give you the floor.
Thank you. So welcome to all our friends from the Space Renaissance International. Thank you very much, Sabine, Adriano, and all the speakers that have really contributed to the great show with the Space Renaissance webinar. Very diverse in topics, very diverse also in the discipline that we have covered, in the style also. So we show we do space for all, and everybody brings it with a special flavor, and we are building also a community. So I would like then to celebrate this end of the year, also reviewing some of our activities, some of our goals, and looking a bit towards next year. So for this, I made a prepared presentation. So, okay, so.
Before you start, I would like to ask you all to mute your microphones to be not disturbed by telephone ringing, dogs barking, cats meowing, or whatever. So thank you.
Yes, we do that. Okay.
There's an echo somewhere.
Can I share?
Mr. Raimond, can you please mute your microphone, or Adriano, can you do it?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
So, okay. So you see my screen, and okay. So okay. I start with this Space Renaissance International. Yeah, you see that? Yes. So yes, I will speak now. So if you would like to intervene, you could put that in the chat. And but it's true that it's good by discipline, like we do in space. We give the floor to the astronaut that is charged to speak, and the Capcom then can communicate.
Bernard, yes? Your audio is not very clear. Can you maybe raise a little bit the volume?
Okay, is that the case?
And I think Mr. Raimond has not muted his microphone.
Okay.
Maybe there's also some. Maybe you can mute it, Adriano.
Yeah. So do you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So because it's Christmas, I think that we will have also some additional guests. And so I wanted also to use this opportunity to give a kind of brief summary of what we do in Space Renaissance International. This is promoting civilian space development, an economic, social, cultural, environmental vision towards a glorious and grandiose future of hope with inspiration. So I am the current president of Space Renaissance International. And so let's go forward on this special webinar in a series that was started 2 years ago, and where we have two webinar seminars per month. So, okay. So, Space Renaissance International, what is it? It's a non-profit organization that was founded in 2010 with a stronger base on philosophy, on principles, on what makes us humans. And it's held by volunteers. And so it was, the movement exists since 2008. We are present in 5 continents. We hope, and many countries, maybe more than even the one that listed here. We hope to be present in more continents in the future. That will include the moon, that will include other places in the solar system, and also in orbit. So I've been elected president in July 2021 during the 3rd World Congress of Space Renaissance. Prego, si puoi chiudere il microfono. So the founder is Adriano Ottino. He was present up to my election in July 2021. He's now serving as the executive director, also strategy ambassador. But we rely also on the board of directors, which were elected also currently in July 2021, but as well in the large assembly of members that have been growing in the past 2 years. And so we have also some advisors at large, and we have some special honorary members, including the former Director General of ESA, Jan Werner, some astronauts, and others. So what is our mission in Space Renaissance International? Our mission is to promote the expansion of civilization into outer space, and we want to connect aerospace and new space companies, individuals, institutions, space agencies, all possible stakeholders, to boost the technological development for civil expansion in outer space. And our tools are to promote economic, cultural, political relationships between our members, and also to develop services, products, and various activities. And in particular, we have some education and outreach initiatives worldwide that integrate various domains that include science, philosophy, and art. So we connect all those to space. And our vision is that of an open world, and that will open to geolunar space and the moon and beyond. So we had a number of key events that shaped our Space Renaissance. So we had the first SRI World Congress 2011 with some theses for Space Renaissance, which were discussed. We had one in 2016, from space exploration to space settlement. And in 2021, we had the civilian space development as a theme, but that's where also we declared a number of action plans that I will describe later. So we have a body of members, so they pay a little membership fee, and that allows us to keep contact and interest, and we have also some presence on social networks. We have also done a number of events that we broadcast through YouTube, and this gives us a bigger fingerprint or leverage in the community at large. So we had also some national congresses. So this is an example of some collage of the participants to our 2021 Civilian Space Development Congress. You see, with some quite some keynote speakers, very well known and very diverse. And so we created also our current body of board of members, and we are also celebrating like we are going to do tonight. So we are developing some axes for action. So action, for instance, of networking, where we share experience and we get to know new partners. And we also develop some new business. We support also the space business growth through some international relation activities, expanding and getting partners. We act also as advocate between companies and institutions to get the issues addressed and to go to the level of decision makers. And we have also some socially driven goals. So we look at how our civilization is, and what is the status, what are the perspectives for growth, both economical, social, or even humanistic growth. And we look how we can expand some of the benefits of society when going to outer space. So we have also some special pillar where we develop education and outreach activities. In particular, we have a Space Renaissance Academy where we develop studies. We have this webinar now that is a very nice program. We have also some courses on space humanist philosophy, science, and space art. So for those of you that are new to Space Renaissance, or some of you that are too long in Space Renaissance, I thought it was good also to remind, what drives us. And so let me also remind you of some of the action plan that we had discussed, and then we put as a recommendation as a result of our Space Renaissance Congress of 2021. So it's summarized here, but we have a final resolution which was more developed for each of these bullet points, and this is well available and documented on the internet and also in our database. So some of these points is we are going forward to the goal, not only going back but going forward, and we need to develop proper industrial infrastructure to produce fuel in space and use resources. Also, we are very sensitive to the topic of space debris, not only mitigation, but even the next step, which would be to recover some of these space debris and reuse them in a sustainable or even a circular economy way. One action is to enhance the protection of life in space. We want also to promote experimenting with simulated gravity to prepare the phase where we'll have a civilian at large scale going in space or on the moon or Mars. And so there are some experiments that perform. Then we have a special action also, which was also proposed to enhance targeting younger generation, because that's the one that will be concerned by this historical development where we are going to move our civilization beyond Earth or on several planets, including Earth. We are very attached to the development of reusable space vehicles, even up to 100% reusable. So also to live in space, we believe that we need to produce food in space. So we are looking at solutions about producing food, agriculture, and various solutions. So special food that will be developed for space. Space safety and protection as well is an important topic. We want to space tourism as well will be an important component of the civilian space development. So we want to support space tourism industries and work also with Earth tourism industries so that they expand their field to space. We work on space-based solar power, which has been proposed many decades, but now is coming at a time where it would become efficient, even economically viable, with lower launch costs that are accessible now. Also, very important direction. Space is not only for engineers, scientists, or powers, it's also for all humanities. And art is an important part of what we are, and so we should bring space-related art with us. So to encompass all these activities, we have also, we had one proposal to add an 18th Sustainable Development Goal, which was to bootstrap the civilian space development. Now we call it Space for All on Earth and Beyond. So this was also proposed as an action for 2021. And we have developed this with quite success, thanks to the energy of our members, in particular Adriano. And this is also a way to bring awareness on all the actions that I have mentioned in this slide. So now I would like to, so this is generally for Space Renaissance, and now I would like to develop some action that with some Space Renaissance partners, and also following some of the work I did even before I was born, which means that to Space Renaissance before 2021, some action which can serve our goal in Space Renaissance. In particular, we have some activities where we help to access data, share data from previous space missions. We have some activities where we develop also instruments and technologies like robotics or other type of technologies that will sustain human and robotic presence on space. We found also a way to participate to space mission worldwide. Now also we have organized since some 15 years some analog field campaigns in places that look like the Moon and Mars, and we developed a research group called Your Moon Mars that thanks to the also the network we have with Space Renaissance, we are extending to the whole Earth, so it could be called Earth Moon Mars. In terms of also developing a body of knowledge, so Space Renaissance has an academy, Space Renaissance Academy, and we have also kind of a partner academy, Eurospace Academy, for which we have obtained some funding from the European Commission, and this is also directed to trading, to science, to technology, to astronautics, to business, to humanities, and also to astronaut physical and mental training. Now, the original goal of Space Renaissance, which was very much humanistic driven, of advocacy, policy, humanistic, are still looked at through our Space Renaissance committees and activities, but it's also very much enriched with the link that we have with partners, with space agencies, with space industries, with other space associations as well, and also with the work of individuals and in particular our volunteers. And the cultural, artistic, society aspect also are very important within Space Renaissance, and we have found also some collaboration with IF, in particular the International Astrophysical Federation and Itacus committee to develop those, and we have even opened a branch of Space Renaissance National Art that is coordinated by Sabine. So these are some examples of activities, and I would like to illustrate on some of these various activities what we could also inspire some of the SRI members and some of the young professionals that are joining us, and also the public at large and the actor at large, stakeholders, they could contribute. So we had also a very interesting event where we could meet in person. That was last year in July, a Space Renaissance workshop that was organized at the Archen Old Observatory and hosted by Sabine Heinz. Beautiful place, and also a great community that attended, and where we had the various panels on civilian space development, space habitat, and out training, some great evening event, and as well some artistic exhibition. So I wish that yes, we should organize such event also in the future. It was a lot of work, but it was a great moment. Now we have also taken part in many events that were organized with partners, and also that's a way where we expand also our impact in the community. So in particular, since 1 year, we have been very active on this Space for All SDG 18, for which the rationale and also the benefit and the possible stakeholders have been working hard, and how we could complement the existing 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which were approved by the United Nations in 2017 or so, and how they could be enriched by adding this 18 SDG to help, in fact, to realize the other goals, but also to move towards a new phase where humanity will be partly present in outer space. So these activities follow also a number of activities that we have been conducting with other partner organizations, in particular with the International Astronomical Federation and the COSPAR Committee for Space Research. They are holding events every year. And in particular, I was involved in a number of events linked with the space exploration since the 90s and as an organizer. And these were also a moment where we can bring the community together and develop collaboration and develop also some line of actions. And in the recent years, so Space Renaissance has been very present. In particular, Space Renaissance International has joined as a member of the International Astronomical Federation. And so we are part of the assembly, we take part in the decision, but we are also very active in organizing sessions of the International Astronomical Congress. And we are also part of a number of committees of IF. The same is now starting for our collaboration with the Committee for Space Research, which is more oriented towards researchers, but you know, there are researchers at large covering all fields of the space, including human spaceflight, or astronomy, or technologies, even social aspect, planet protection. And we will have a large congress in Busan, Korea, in July 2024, where we will be present in various aspects. We have also we are collaborating also with the Moon Village Association. That was one of the founders, but we have also conducted a number of events together. And I'm just returning from a beautiful Moon Village Association workshop that took place in Japan, in Kurashiki, 2 weeks ago, which was attended by a large diversity of researchers, engineers, but also many industries, showing that now even terrestrial industries are ready to take their part in the space revolution. So now, okay, going back to some example of activities that we are supporting, like I had the privilege and honor and pleasure to lead the first lunar mission of ESA, which was also the first of this millennium, smart one we launched some 20 years ago. and we are still analyzing some of the data from this mission. Another aspect which is very important is how we work with the technologists to develop and adapt some of the latest technologies for the next phase of exploration. Like in the case of the Smart One, we use special new technologies for spacecraft, inheriting some advances in electronics development, in solar panels, but also in miniaturization of instruments, and also making use of some new techniques for communication with laser or of autonomous navigation. So there are many examples where clearly we have to be very aware of some of the technology development so that we can, in a smart way, accompany the development expansion into space with human and robots. Another important point that we are trying to foster, so in the line of going forward to the moon, but also making this data available for the community worldwide to analyze and to understand better, for instance, the moon itself, but also the history of the Earth-Moon system and the processes that shape planets. And that's something where we can acquire also universal knowledge and put that in as a universal education for children worldwide. So we believe that going into space requires also learning about astronomy, learning about planet, learning about space. And with some of the data, we can contribute to that. So also some of the data we obtained 20 years ago are very useful to prepare the future. In particular, with our Smart One mission, we made maps of the polar region. In particular, here you see a mosaic of the solar, the south pole of the moon, and we found places which are in permanent shadows at the lowest temperature, 50 Kelvin, so where ice can be trapped almost forever. But we found also places which are illuminated almost all the time. In particular, we found a place close to the south pole of the moon, only 20 kilometers from the south pole itself, from the place which is a quasi-eternal peak of light. So we call this a Smart One peak of light, and that's a place where many countries now would like to establish a lander, and we could create there a robotic village and then a human base, some of the first outposts for humans, and at the start of a permanent human presence on the surface of the moon. So what we started in 2003 with the ESA Smart One mission was then followed even at larger scale by missions that were built by Japan, the Kaguya mission, and by China, the Chang'e 1 mission. They were launched the same month in September 2007. And then we had, and those missions made some great discoveries and scientific advances, and we shared the data amongst all the countries. And we had also a mission prepared by Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO. The mission was called Chandrayaan-1. It was launched in 2008, and actually I had also the duty to negotiate with India the possibility to bring 3 European instruments on board. And so it was a very international mission. And so actually from this fleet of orbiters, we learned also that we can do things for science. We can also use science to prepare the next exploration and utilization mission, but also we use this mission as a platform for peaceful collaboration. So practicing international collaboration where we involve all countries, and this way building a part of peace as well. So also the US have developed a number of very challenging missions. So they launched in 2009 the Cross that impacted the South Pole region, and then made measurement of ice in the subsurface, while the Indian Chandrayaan-1 mission had proven that there was ice on the surface of the moon in this polar region. And later, we had a number of missions, like the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, that is still in operation since 2009, so 14 years ago, still valiant. And we had a number of very interesting discovery class missions, like GRAIL for measuring the gravity field of the moon, or LADI for measuring the exosphere of the moon. So you see an orbital fleet, we could say an orbital village around the moon. And this goes along a vision that we had developed in the mid-90s with the International Lunar Exploration Working Group. That's a group that is composed of space agencies, but also academia, so industries and explorers. And that is meeting regularly every 2 years. And at that time, in 95, when we sort of a roadmap for exploration and utilization of the moon, starting with this orbital reconnaissance mission, then some landers established in a robotic village with some collaboration, then a human outpost with short-term stay, 1 week, for instance, and then extending this stay to several months to the point that we would have a sustainable human presence on the surface of the moon. And this, what we call the Moon Village roadmap. And eventually, this vision has been really endorsed, not only in the mind, but also in the fact by some program like the Artemis program that is led by the US and with many collaborators. But we have also the International Lunar Research Station, which is now proposed by China with also a number of partners. So all this goes in the direction of what we had proposed at the Moon Village vision, but the Moon Village vision had also more than a series of missions and infrastructure, but it was also an initiative where we would bring the benefit to humanity on Earth. And humanity in terms of knowledge, in terms of technology, in terms of peace, in terms of inspiration, training, and also business. So we also developed some hands-on activities because we know we want to develop civilian space development, but we have to train. We have to train ourselves and the next generation to the condition to live in the moon base, for instance, or Mars. And for this, already some 14 years ago, we started going in some campaign where this was in the Mars Desert Research Station, where we would spend 2 weeks on Mars and just stimulate what would be the condition, living there, working there, doing laboratory research, field research, bringing instruments that we will bring in the future, testing also the technologies of habitat and the various subsystems that make us survive on the moon and getting the minimum life support system, and so looking at the human aspect of having an international interdisciplinary crew in preparation for the future bases on the moon and Mars. We found also it was a great way to train young researchers, advanced researchers together. So it's a tool also to inspire and to train across generation, across geography, also with a good gender mix. And we train also the participants to communicate to their peers. So we have performed this campaign since 2009 every year. At the beginning, mostly in the Utah Mars Desert Research Station. So for them, we learned also to deploy extravehicular activities systems. So having some EVA suit and testing some advanced instruments like radar, drills, sample, robots, and so on to explore, like we would be on the moon or Mars. So de facto, now we have gone into the Artemis generation, where we have a program that is Now I started the Artemis program led by the US, and Artemis 1 mission has flown already to the moon, around the moon and back, and it's composed of various elements. So the key one is Orion capsule, so a capsule which is bigger than the Apollo capsule, that can carry 4 astronauts. But, this is brought to the moon and back safely, thanks to the European Service Module, which is, and so it's also an example of great technical heritage and collaboration. And we have also in the Artemis program NASA, we have ESA, but also other countries like Japan and Canada that are going to contribute. Actually, Artemis 1 was only around the moon and in an automatic mode without crew. Then Artemis 2 will bring 4 astronauts around the moon, and Artemis 3 has a target to go to to land on. So it will have a phase around the moon, but 2 of the astronauts will land on the surface of the moon. And it's planned that this will include a woman, the first woman with boots on the moon. And they have actually identified some possible landing sites in the South Polar region. And I've put this landing site on top of a map that we had obtained 20 years before with the Smart 1 mission. So, to show that indeed what we have done in the past with precursors mission can be very useful to shape the future. So after Artemis 3, there will be also Artemis 4. And so there are 2 companies which were selected for this human mission that will have a landing element on the surface of the moon, SpaceX, using the Starship, and also Blue Origin that will use a Blue Moon lander. So the exact timing of who will be first, okay, depends on technical development, but it's certain that some stage we will have these 2 elements, and then we'll have every year a mission to the moon, and this will increase in complexity, in duration, and in possibilities of what we'll be able to do. And this will then have an important milestone, which will be the build-up of an Artemis space station. And clearly, that's a very important progress, in particular in the Artemis base camp. There is some option to have a pressurized rover. Actually, Japan has been identified to procure it. And they were involved already Toyota, so well-known automobile company. And there are already 300 engineers from Toyota working on the development of this pressurized rover, as I could witness during my last trip in Japan for the Moon Village Association workshop 2 weeks ago. So 25 years ago, we proposed this Moon Village concept, and also we had at ESA and Director General John Werner that in 2015 really was a very strong ambassador of this concept, also in view of having it as an initiative worldwide to bring space benefit to all the citizens of Earth. And so that's a vision that is also very strong into our space renaissance community. So an open architecture with multiple stakeholders, and having a community, building a community. That's this vision of Moon Village, and an aspect where international cooperation, but also commercialization of space can be developed. So in the implementation, because, you know, vision is great, but if you only have vision and you don't execute it, I call it hallucination. It's just like a dream, but really you have to transform vision into reality. And for this, you need work. And so you need also people to do some of the work, engineers, scientists, managers, the whole ecosystem is needed. So, of course, there are different challenges for implementing the moon base to get there. So that's people doing rockets, because you need to rocket to take off from Earth, but you need also a rocket to land safely on the surface of the moon. And there are the issues with the rocket technology, with the mass that you can bring. We have now SpaceX, Blue Origin. Also in Europe, we have Ariane, and we have a project actually of a mid-sized lander called Argonaut that in the 2030s would be brought and could bring 1.5 tons to the surface of the moon in complement to bringing astronauts, which the Artemis program will perform. We have also challenges into building habitats, laboratories. There's a challenge of a life support system, also energy challenge and operation on the moon, communication in extreme environment, survival of equipment of astronauts, mobility of astronauts and also of robots. Also the partnership between humans and robots. And special asset on the moon, you have resources. You have solar power accessible, you have mineral resources, and you can use the soil to build, but you can extract also from the soil the oxygen, some of the metals. And we have found water ice in the poles that can be exploited for life support, but also for making fuel, for example, to launch from the moon. And launching from the moon is cost about 50 times less energy than launching from Earth. So you could develop a full hydrogen, oxygen, lunar economy. What is a novelty as well is that we are not doing it only with the government or taxpayers fund, but also there are a number of players from terrestrial companies, from new space companies, some also investors. And we could think that this development could be funded like 70% by private sectors. It's important to keep also some governmental part into it to be the infrastructures also, to fix some of the regulation and the rules to do things in a safe and fair way, and also to have a way to share some of the benefit of this exploration and utilization at large. So actually we have worked in these different areas that are needed to make progress towards civilian space development, the area of analyzing data from previous missions, doing the science for understanding, but also the science for better planning what to do next. Also developing some of the technology of instruments, robotics, lab support, energy management. Also developing some project, precursor missions, and building also some collaboration between stakeholders that can start on small project and can be developed in a bigger project, even at a human-based scale. There's some work, as we mentioned, that having sustainable vehicles and also making use of resources, some material resources or energy, far future, even AM3 for clean fusion. And we also have continued on doing analog field work because this helped us to better prepare the technologies and also the human organization for what we do in space. Now, sometimes people ask, what is the most important resources that we can harvest in space? And my answer is human creativity. In fact, the challenges that we can solve to reach for the moon, this allows to develop talent, innovation, and this creativity can be used in all areas of society on Earth. And indeed, we have found also now in the last 10 years, a large development of innovation, new business, entrepreneurship linked with space. So space mostly for Earth, but also we start to have some commercial utilization and business that is inspired by space exploration. So one dimension is important is, of course, how we do it in a spirit of cooperation, but also competition in order to get the best of everybody. So we need also to have this internal competition, but finding a way to, I call it a spirit of so competition like the Olympic Games, where everybody tried to get the best for themselves. And actually, in this line, I believe that within 30 years time scale, we should host the Olympic Games on the moon, and that will be a good demonstration of the Olympic spirit in space. And then continuing on this humanistic aspect, like Space Renaissance has been really a proponent, and under the large umbrella of the movement that we have initiated, called Space for All on Earth and beyond. Now, I'm going to have a slideshow because it's a Christmas webinar. So enough words, let's look at some pictures of illustrating what we have been doing. So we have been sort of doing some work with technologies of small landers and robots, working cooperatively as a family. So this is, you saw even our robots could cooperate and could build some peace on the moon. And we have even demonstrated some of this experiment with a team of students. So this was a little lander box that was landed on the moon, and from where we deployed a rover and some cameras that go to fetch some samples. The samples are analyzed by spectrometers, and we were there in a crater close to the summit of the Etna volcano. Actually, this was a campaign that was organized during COVID time with some 15 students coming from across various European countries. Then the year after, the year after, we performed even more ambitious campaign with organized by the German Aerospace Center, DLR, which deployed two intelligent rovers, deploying some payload box, some 15 boxes, like a shoebox size, with different technologies of sample analysis, seismometer, radio telescope, and also there was ESA rover that was teleoperated by an astronaut, by Thomas Reiter, like he would be circling the moon. So in preparation of future operation, when we will have a gateway orbital station around the moon, piloting some assets on the lunar surface. So this was quite impressive, with more than 70 people preparing all these experiments and teleoperating these robots. And for instance, it's an example of an experiment I was involved in particular, deploying some boxes to make a radio interferometer, like we would do from the pole of the moon, even better from the far side of the moon, which is the quietest radio region in the solar system, protected from all the radio pollution from it. So we have done also some campaign looking at the synergy between human and robotic systems, so the partnerships. This was using a lander that we built in the frame of a Google Next Prize competition, and we had also an astronaut operation repairing some instrument or installing new instruments. So we had also some campaign where we performed 2 weeks isolation in a Moon-Mars base and then equipped with various experiments, because of course research will be an important component of the beginning of the exploration, because you need research to understand, to get some discovery, but also to solve some of the knowledge gaps in order to continue. So we brought some instruments that were developed by collaborators from NASA, from ESA, and from various universities to analyze the composition of rocks or to search for those organics in the desert. Now, also at our scale, we build a small laboratory, a bit mini lunar base, where I locked my students for a few days so that they could tailor operate some rovers. There are some instruments to analyze samples and 3D printers if they needed to an accessory, and they could learn what the experience of being isolated on the moon. And now we have another access to another base. It's in Poland, where you can stay 1 week or 2 weeks in the lunar base module without window and with a team of 6 astronauts. And here, for instance, you can see them. You have the capsule communicator, but you have also virtual reality, technology experiment, biology, growing plants. They even here, they were doing some emergency rescue operations. We had also some medical doctor. They did some physiology studies, measuring also the health, but also the stress. In particular, also doing 1 hour exercise per day. So for those of you that are strong believers of Space Renaissance International, civilian development, so you can go there, but you will have to do a bit of exercise. So in the partial gravity environment of the moon, you will have to train your muscles and your bones. So that's what we experience here with this simulation, and you can join some of this simulation. We have a special program for young professionals where we also give them grants, but we have also some senior participants that took part of this campaign. You have to travel to this base, which is in Poland, that is managed by the Analog Astronaut Training Center. It's our good collaborators. Now we thought, okay, we should also build a base that will bring to you. And for this, we have we thank to some development studies from Human Mars, but also with some funding from the European Commission, our platform called Spaceal. We have designed a base called Spaceal Express. It's a small lunar base, lunar laboratory and habitat that we can bring to you. And it's mobile, and we equip it like a base, like a space station with scientific trucks. It has an area for resting and for working, and we can accommodate 4 astronauts for 1 week. So this base was designed by a former space architect student, Serena Croti, and it was built up based on some of the requirements from me and some collaborators. And it was built in Italy, and then it was shown in Padova Botanical Garden and some events also in Italy for 1 month. Then it was brought for 1 month in Paris-Saclay. That's the most prestigious École Normale Supérieure of Paris-Saclay, where it was used for research, but also for outreach during the Science Week. And currently it is in the Netherlands, where we are using it to test, to add some new system like energy system, water processing, waste management, some plant growth. So we want to enrich it with various subsystems, which make it more complete as a lunar module. And from March, we are planning to bring it along in Europe. So we bring it at the Space Resource Workshop, you know, where some of you will be present. I have to say, I want also to thank our colleagues from Space Renaissance that helped, for instance, Adriano helped us in the transport of this facility from Italy to Paris. So you need also some any members is welcome to use the facility and also to propose experiments that can be conducted there. So we'll have it also after in France. We plan also to have it in Germany at the European Astronaut Center. And in September, we plan to bring it to Switzerland. And in October next year, we plan to bring it to the International Astronomical Congress in Milano. And so if you're interested to make use of it, we We can have access to it. We rent part of it, but and we are looking also to duplicate this base in some partner countries. So actually, this looks small. You see 4 people in this unit of 7 by 2 meters. That's a bit small. And for this reason, we added an inflatable part that can triple the volume of the living area. And there we can have some more space for experiment, but also for doing the physical exercise, for instance. And it's also we have a way to simulate extravehicular activities. So this concept is free if you want to duplicate it, and yes, create your own moon base. We can share you some of the blueprint. Now this is a base that we can put close to a technical world, you know, to develop it further. But at some stage, we are looking at places that look like the moon on Mars. So we go to desert, we go to Etna, we went to Utah, Chile, Iceland, and also we have since 5 years developed a very advanced base in the Hawaii. So that's International Moon Base Alliance, where with the founder is Hank Rogers, you know, the owner of Tetris, that also is developing action towards space exploration, also climate action. But he was very instrumental in building this base and that we can use now for research and for learning how to live and work the moon. So it's all solar powered. You can go there with 6 to 10 astronauts. It has been used for long-term simulation for NASA, where you had astronauts staying 6 months or even 12 months there for psychological studies. But now we use it mostly for short duration, like 1 week and 2 weeks. And for researchers, we have a special program where you can book to go there, and also you have access to various instruments to do your research. But also we open it to private citizens that want to join the journey. So here, for instance, this was some geology students from Amsterdam who did their master research, taking samples from the surface or from the lava tubes, and they got, yes, so I saw a sign of 10 minutes. Thank you. Now, eventually, we got a big eruption in Hawaii, and we had 2 lava flows on each side. But you see the base was high enough that it was not destroyed. On the contrary, so it was quite exciting. So we went there at the beginning of February. So we were there. Hank Rogers was our commander, was the chief scientist. We have hired as well a new director of operation for this base. That's Kato Kless, a young Belgian pilot and space researcher. And we had also our chief psychologist, Celia, that is also a member of SRI, as you know. And and we have Serena Crotty as well. Serena Crotty has quite a very nice experience. In addition to making the design of a lunar base, she had a practical experience of being part of an isolation mission in Poland, where she was with 5 male crew astronauts, the only women. Then she did one mission where there were 6 women in a cave in Spain, and then she did the mission in Hawaii with us. So diversity of very experience, where she looked also the different spirit that you have depending on the composition of the crew. So all this work, we have tried also to consolidate it as a pratical training academy. We call it Your Spaceal Academy. So it's quite complementary to the Space Renaissance Academy, which at the moment is more into the thinking and exchanging and making studies and so on. The Your Spaceal Academy is directed towards practical training in space science, space technology, space humanities, also space management in terms of how to make money with space and how to manage projects, to find sponsors, manage data, and also continuing on the line of the physical and mental training of astronauts in isolated mission, but also in zero-G experience, in balloon and rocket experience. So if you know, and this academy, your special academy, is open to worldwide, so it can be complementary to university training, and but also we want to open it to citizens of all age, because we believe that we have to study during our whole life. That's the secret, and then you can select one module you can do. So these are examples, for instance, of these are some students in the last year that did a long-term master research with us. So some 5-month studies, so in various areas of Mars science or some astrobiology. We had also some experiments from TU Dublin. We had a student on the economy. So she made a comparative study of the new space economy in US and Europe. We had a space diplomat. We had, and now we have also some new students making a design of lunar base, one doing machine learning, and one doing space biology. So very diverse, as indeed space is very interdisciplinary. So these are a research student, but in addition, we have initiated, thanks to the fund that we had left for Human Mars, but also the new funding from the European Commission. We have also some position of special project manager, where we gave some grant, so for communication, for operation of our base in Hawaii, for database, and so, and we are still hiring some. So if you know some young professionals that, we have some grant for them. And we are going to start a Spaceal Academy cohort, for master students from February 2024. So we have already a number of students from Dublin, Leiden, and if you know some of students that would want to join, they can certainly join, and we have got even some new interest from Asian countries. So now let's finish with a slideshow of some highlights. We have also some action into Art, Moon, and Mars, so with the project Moon Gallery that was developed 10 years ago, and where we want to launch 100 pieces of art to the moon. And we have launched a precursor version of 64 art pieces on the International Space Station. So this came back, this was launched in February 2022, but came back in January this year. And after 1 year in space, we have various contributors to our Eurospace Hub with various universities in Europe, but we try to expand it. And we had quite a great event in ISE, so we had a Space Renaissance very present there. So Adriano, for instance, we are part of the IF membership, and many papers were presented. We organized some sessions. We had young professional events, and the most diverse ISE ever. Now, the piece of news that we have opened an office at the Space Business Innovation Center near Estec, and where you are all, it's your office. So when you come to Holland, you can use it. And we have organized a number of events, and we connect a lot with the new space ecosystem. We are also very well connected with the Space Campus NL, so various Dutch universities, but also Dutch industry. And so we have a great base of collaboration. We have a strong collaboration also with Toulouse, where we have been teaching. So these are some of my students, so aerospace engineers, that they do project, study project. And we were also in Space Tech Bremen, so where we have met many startups, space agencies, and actors very active in the field. So also we went to the Cité de l'Espace in Toulouse and all the municipalities. So we connected also with the various stakeholders. So Dublin is also a strong partners. So we will have 6 students the next year coming for Holland, and they will go around and doing some research project. So that as a summary, what I've mentioned to wrap up. So clearly we have our vision in Space Renaissance, which is also was reinforced by our recommendation from the Congress in 2021. And we look also at having practical action in the area of data, technologies, analog missions, and also some studies in advocacy in humanistic aspect and culture and art. So that's mostly what we have been doing. And I would like to end with some perspective of next year events where Space Renaissance could participate. In particular, there is an event in ESTEC, 18-19 January, ESTEC Inspiration and Exploration. We'll have our academy starting in January. We have a various event with the UN COPIOS, so the Science Technical Committee, that's in February. Then we have in April the legal one, and we have also a number of science conferences which are relevant to us, like Houston New York Training Conference. We have Space Resource Workshop in Luxembourg, and I have committee meetings. And I want to thank Adriano that have started also to document where the different SRI members will be present. That's very useful tools that we can prepare our actions. We have also this larger event in COSPA in Busan, Korea. So it's a deadline for abstract will be 6 February. So it's important that we organize ourselves to contribute. In Holland, we'll have also a special event in September. We are going to host the 100 astronauts in Leiden and ESTEC, 25 September. It will be a nice opportunity for you to come. And then we have also a very big event, which will be the International Astronomical Congress in Milano, 14 to 18 of October, where also many SRI members are already preparing. So as you see, we have been quite active in the last year, and the next year also has quite a number of opportunities for us as Space Renaissance to play a role. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah, thank you, Bernard. Maybe you can stop sharing the screen so we are all present. And
yes, Lady, I go back to yes. Yeah. So I don't know if you have some questions, also some. Also, I wanted to invite if there are some board members or others that we would like to share.
Yeah, it's
some points. Yeah, you could also give a second or 1 minute to some board members that would like to share some of the highlights.
I wanted to do.
Yeah. Okay,
I wanted to welcome people from Italy, from Poland, from Serbia, from Germany, and from the Netherlands. And now we have here a lot of members from our board, and I would like to give them the word. Maybe I mentioned them. Bernard, thank you for this really profound overview about our activities. And I am already working on our next Space Renaissance Art and Science Festival for 2025 in Berlin. So you can be happy that we will do it at the Astronaut Observatory. And I would start with a line here. Jim, hello and welcome. Maybe you say some words to our audience.
Aloha.
Yeah, from Hawaii.
That's only one word, but no, really, truly outstanding presentation. And the more we can convince humanity to collaborate rather than compete, and reaching for the stars. I think this is what the SRI provides, a very rich petri dish with an agar that if we dump enough things into it, some amazing things are going to crawl out. And it's really an honor to engage with all of you, and your visions for the future are truly inspirational and will really make a difference for humankind as we reach for the stars.
Thank
Aloha.
you. Yeah. Aloha.
Yeah,
Yes.
we had Frank White with us, but likely I think he left because I don't see him anymore in the list of.
Yes, and
Yes.
Jan Werner also left already.
Yeah,
Some
okay,
people had to leave because he had only a short time. But it was important to present all the activities. So I'm glad that you did this, Bernard, and I would like to invite you for a webinar to talk about the moon, because it's your special topic next
Yes,
year.
we do that with that. I saw also your initiative, in particular about the young generation. Yes, we should do something. So
Yes, that would be nice.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
know.
I think we should maybe make a short summary because this presentation was so long and detailed on many things, and but we need to make a short summary of what we did, what we have done in 2023, and I think the main thing we made was. The workshop in New York at the United Nations headquarters on the 18 SDG. It was the presentation of the 18 SDG with the presence of nearly 70 space advocacy organizations with us that are part of this big alliance that is promoting the 18 SDG to the UN, and we are working very hard to organize a large public outreach campaign, because we are working on with UN, but also we want to let me say take profit of this campaign to talk to the society at large and to make yeah, to spread the key concepts of why humanity needs to start expanding into outer space, and they need to do it, start doing before 2030 is very important, because this is a critical time, and we have to show some meaningful steps of the beginning of the civilian space development. So this is what we are working on, and we are very active together with NSS, the National Space Society, at the UN COPWAS. We participated in June, and we supported Carlton Johnson of the NSS, who presented the 18 SDG. He made a 7 minutes wonderful discourse presenting the SDG, 18 SDG. And here in February, the COPWAS in Vienna at COPWAS, we will have the Scientific and Technological Subcommittee meeting where we plan to participate. The same we will do at the Legal Subcommittee in June. No, sorry, in April. And
there's the legal in April, and June is
the General Assembly of COPWAS. Yes.
Yeah. So you can see that on my slide. Huh? As I put that, of course, it's the plan.
Yes.
Yes, I think we should not repeat all this.
Very important that we get support to do that, because, of course, to be present at the UN and in other, we also want to do at the ISDC in Los Angeles in May. We want to make a special session on 18 SDG together with the NSS International Committee. And so we want to be in Milan, of course, with maybe in Milan there will be maybe 10 or 12 SI members, and we have to organize a very good participation to ISC 75, and also to rent a booth over there. and to really we have to make a very, very big presence of SRI in Milan next year. So of this to say that we need support. We need very much support. We need new members to join SRI. We need donations to SRI. So I will share in the chat of yes, of this meeting on Zoom, and also on the chat in YouTube. I will share the links to join SRI as a member and to donate to SRI. That's very important. Otherwise, we cannot move. If we don't have money, we cannot move. We cannot do the things we have to do. We cannot rent a booth in Milan. We cannot make the session in Los Angeles. So please, okay. Let me also say that we are very much committed in these months to write a position paper of SRI about the critical point, the most important criticalities toward 2020, and we are working very much on this paper, and that's why we are also maybe not issuing so many newsletters in this time. We are not asking people to donate and to join new members and so on. So please try to understand what we are doing, even if but you can see it in our website, you know, because we are publishing things and so on, and you see that we are working very much. So my heartfelt call is, please give us some money. Now we need, for 2024 activities, we need help. Okay, this is
yes, but not only money.
Not only, of course,
not only money, we also need other kind of support.
Yeah,
and
you need time, investment, and you need organization. And I want to say a comment, Adriano. We have also to be effective. For instance, I know we have spent like 1 month with a group of 15 people to write one abstract for Space Resource Workshop.
Yes, exactly. Also, I forgot to tell that.
But
Luxembourg.
at the end, we got a slot for one poster. And I got one student in 1 hour, he wrote an abstract and he got selected for one poster for Space Resource. So we have to be careful to be more effective in the way we work.
Yes, this is true. And I wanted to mention to everyone who's still not member of SRI that we are working as volunteers for SRI. So we are doing this in our free time, and we don't get paid for this. So everything helps. But I wanted to go on and to present our members. Joseph, I would like to give you the floor for a short moment.
Okay. Well, I chair a group called the Alliance for Collaboration in the Exploration of Space. And one of our alliance members, of course, is the SRI, and we hope to work together on various projects in the coming year in that regard. I'm also doing a new book on the Gateway space station and its safety. And I wonder if Bernard could say a few words about to what extent you think that facility will help and move forward lunar exploration and its safety and so on.
Okay, so on a Gateway, actually, I published a paper in the Space Research Today, which was exactly on description of lunar gateway, so the technical, the goals.
Could you send me a copy of that, please?
Yeah, so it's in the publication of COSPAR, you know, Space Research Today, and so actually it was 2 publications ago. Yes, I will send you that. And actually, I just also wrote a paper now about a report from the COSPAR Planetary Exploration Panel that will appear in the next issue of this journal. But the issue of safety, I think I've not addressed so clearly. There is a good, yes, good deal of work to do. On the topic of the budget and our activities, I want to say that you see I've mentioned a number of master students that have worked with us. We have got some funding to support them, and I would be happy to, if we have some space SRI young professionals that, you know, are doing more than a normal volunteer work. So if they have a task, I could also provide grants for them. In particular, if they do like an internship with Space Renaissance International, because we are a serious organization, so we could host them so that they achieve part of their master research. I could provide them some co-funding. I could also give funding to one special project manager. Now I had 7 of those for our Eurospace Academy, but one special project manager that is dedicated to help Space Renaissance, I could give some support.
Thank you so much.
I have a good
I
friend.
forgot one thing, one important thing that we will be doing in 2024 in September. We will make a workshop, an online workshop organized by Ghanim Al-Otaibi, our member from Kuwait. That will be for the young researchers and entrepreneurs to participate to a kind of context to make design, project design, project idea design and business plan. And we will hold 7 preparatory webinars for that will be added to our normal webinars program. So we will have for 3-4 months, we will have not only 2 webinars per month, but 4 webinars per month. And so we will have some preparatory lectures that will help the participants to this workshop to prepare their applications and so on. So there is a page. I will put the link to that page now in the chat of YouTube, so everybody can see it, and maybe we already have a pre-registration form, so it is also already possible to make a pre-registration to this workshop. Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Joseph,
Final note, I have a good friend who's being elected.
Yeah, one thing is important as well. I see sometimes a lot of work, a lot of expertise which is shared, but it's important that we can document that in something which can have an impact. So Joseph mentioned a book. You know, if we manage to get a book and then we distribute it, that's something that has an impact. If we keep our internal discussion like we do, and we have this stream of discussion without documenting and without editing them, it's just halfway. So we should find a way to converge with all this, you know, work we do in some product that can be then made available to the community at large. So this could be a workshop, like you mentioned, Adriano. So also this youngster, they should write something at the end that we can share with the world. And also now we can also make money. If you make a studies, now I know at least from the European Space Agency or from NADA, they are calling for studies. If you make, you know, some of the argument, if we develop them and we make a study, we can obtain funding for some of this work.
Could I just say happy holidays to everyone? I have a good friend who's been elected to Commissioner of Revenue in the place where I live in Arlington, Virginia. And I have to go to her installation in office. So happy holidays to all.
So we do, yes, happy holidays. Thank you. Thank you, Isabel.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Bye.
Thank you.
So, but Joe, you are leaving or?
Yes, I have to go for the installation. Sorry.
Oh,
Happy
I'm so
holidays.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Have beautiful holidays. Yeah. Okay.
I guess this Matilde it's also going to leave. I'm right. Yeah, maybe you will give some words to us. You have to unmute yourself. You have a phone. Maybe you can unmute her, Adriano. You as a host, you can do this.
I asked her to unmute. I cannot do it.
Oh, yeah.
I can only ask.
Oh, yeah.
You have to unmute.
Yes, maybe she's on the phone and it's difficult.
Make your microphone alive. Oh, she is at her grandparents, I think, and they are speaking, so she cannot. Okay.
Okay, then yeah, I wanted to give you the floor. Then we wish you a Merry Christmas, Mathilde, and
maybe
Werner.
there are some board members that also may wish to highlight some of the points.
Yes. I'm trying to catch them before they leave, but I'm seeing here in the list who's leaving. Werner, maybe you want to give some words to our audience.
Yes, I'm focusing now in the next month on space architecture and on the usage of lunar resources and of resources of near-Earth asteroids. I will prepare some studies for the next IAF conference in Milano and so on. I'm also preparing workshop and a webinar for Ganim, and I have a lot of things which I want to do in the next weeks and months. I see the things from the point of engineering and so on, and from architectural point of view and so on, and I try to do my best in the next month and in the next weeks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Jerry, can you unmute yourself? I'm so glad to see you. Since long time I haven't seen you. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yes,
right. Now I've got to work out how to get back to my previous screen, but never mind. No, it's been very interesting, as I've put in the chat, to listen to the incredible amount of information that Bernard gave us. Thank you very much for putting all that together. And I presume that the slides will become available in the not too distant future. I would just like to mention one thing which is connected with the IAC in Milan, that I have proposed that there is a morning session about Island Zero, and I will give an introductory presentation on that, but I'd be interested in putting out an invitation for other short, perhaps 20-minute presentations on other topics which will be appropriate to the Island Zero concept. I should also mention that I'm proposing that we put Island Zero to the European Space Agency for them to run a Phase A feasibility study. And I have a contact, and I shall be writing to him with a summary of the project, and the idea being just to see about investigating the feasibility of
Jan Werner was here before.
Today. Oh, was he? Oh,
yes, he was, but he had to leave too. Unfortunately,
I wrote you actually.
Okay.
Jerry, I wrote you the topic because the real contact is at ISA, the OSIP manager. So
yeah, no, it's all right.
the information is on the website, huh?
Yeah, so
And
Adriano gave me an email contact for Werner, and Jan Werner, and I wrote to him, and he said the person you need to speak to is this, and he gave me all the details, and
yeah,
also copied him in his reply to me, so he already has an introduction.
okay.
And yeah, I'll be sending details to him in the
That's
next
good, but
couple of days.
you should also follow there is a website, a call for ideas now in the so-called OZIP platform, and the deadline
Yes.
for input
Yeah,
will be very
I have.
soon. So
I have all of that
yeah, okay.
information as well. So this is, I just need to
Okay.
put all the appropriate information together to send this off. So things are really moving.
Yeah. And now for
Okay.
ISC, if you want to organize a special session, there's a call, but you need to submit it before it will be in end of January, the deadline for proposing special sessions. So
Yes,
please,
I know. What I'd
okay.
like to do is have a chat with either Adriano or Bernard about how best to go about this and what sort of things we'd be looking for, because it would be a part of the IAC program, so we wouldn't be charging for this. And also,
I think the best thing would be, but this is my opinion, Bernard is more expert than me with the IAF. However, I think the best way will be to propose a special session. Do you agree?
Well, now actually, I'm not sure about that, and the reason being that I looked at the 2023 program, and special sessions are run 4 times a day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and I'm looking for this event to be a whole morning, because otherwise we just won't have enough time.
That's very ambitious. That's very ambitious, and I think that in knowing IAC, it will be very difficult. But you should try at least to apply for a special session that can be, it could be half a day.
Yeah.
Well,
if that's possible,
but be careful, Jerry. My knowledge is that last year we had 100 proposals of special session, and we could select only 20.
No, I do appreciate that.
Okay, so
what I really want
public,
to do, though,
if you want public, the best is to submit in a technical session. Like for example, if you submit in my session, which is space exploration, we had a public of 200 people, and then you would have a talk of half an hour eventually, so you can target this.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ISC is very condensed, very competitive.
Okay. Now, what I also want and will be very important for this is time for people who are going to be there, because there's the opportunity to get a lot of senior people involved in space habitats together, and for them to have a discussion on this concept and decide what might be the best way forward as well for it. So, okay, Bernard, then can we have a Zoom meeting in the not too distant future to discuss this and see what's the best thing that should be done to make it happen?
Yeah, I think that you should target all of those. Target a special session, target a few abstract in some key session where you will get the audience for sure. If you submit my session, I can guarantee I select you. So because there is also a rejection factor. Like last year we made the proposal Space for All to IAC, and it was rejected. One paper. That's a shame. Just because the organizer didn't get it.
Yeah.
So we have to target different things.
Well, I have made several updates to my Island Zero presentation recently. And another thing is that I shall probably be a senior, God, what do they call it? Not senior institute, but anyway, it's it's in the Space Studies Institute, which of course Gerard O'Neill and Tasha O'Neill founded. Now, I've already been in touch with Tasha O'Neill when I was running my Island Zero project a few years ago, and she gave us her best wishes for it. But Roger O'Neill, Gerard's son, is the current chair of the Space Studies Institute. So again, he's an ideal person to contact. So there we go. I'm incredibly busy at the moment.
Thank you so much for your outreach. And I also would like to welcome Mary Kuiper, but she is here, but she cannot speak at the moment. But she is also member of SRI and of the Moon Gallery. She had her artwork on the ISS space station. And I see Philip is still there. Do you want to give some words to our audience, or you want to say only hello? No, you will not speak.
No, he's speaking.
Sorry, I was on mute. I think Adriano is following me on my group. I'm doing research for anti-gravity. I'm in touch with Lockheed Martin, so we'll see. Hopefully they can help me out. And right now I got some public videos, but I got private videos as well. But I'll let you know early next year about my research for anti-gravity. It's I don't invent anything, but just some gravitomagnetic field that can be harnessed.
Okay, thank you. And I also would like to ask you, Bernard, if we can have a Zoom meeting because at the last ITACUS committee meeting, unfortunately, Arno Green has gone. We talked about some project for Myland, and I would like to talk to you because if we have to apply for this by the end of January, we should talk in the not so distant future. And I would like to thank you everyone for being here. Can you see this Christmas, this Santa Claus? And I wish you a Merry Christmas on Earth, in our solar system and beyond. As you can see, I put the Milky Way here. And I really, truly wish that we have a peaceful Christmas and that we have peace on Earth.
I would like to add.
Oh, Alberto, do you want to give some words before I close it? Oh,
I would like to, Susan.
Susan, hello.
Hello. Let me put my camera on, sorry. So I can say hello. Hi, everyone.
This would be nice.
Can you see me?
Hello.
Hi. You know that? Hello. So that picture at the back is a picture taken from our station out in Mojave. There was a morning sunrise when we were in the middle of the mission 2 weeks ago, and that is a portal window. So look how beautiful that sunrise is on Simulation Mars. With that said, let me give you a quick overview. So I'm really excited. Of course, we've just signed, NDA with Adriano and Bernard. We'll send that over so that we can partner with Mars and be able to bring in the astronautic training that we've been doing. And also working on curating the space medicine and medical technology workshop for SRI. Hopefully I can get something over to you, Adriano and Bernard, to look at, and we can, prove it and get that up and going during the new year. And I spoke to the Puerto Rico Space Foundation, and they're partnered with us, but they're very interested in partnering with SRI as well. So Adriano, Bernard know it's Christmas and it's New Year. So maybe after the New Year, we can figure out a time set up so I can formally introduce SRI to the Puerto Rico Space Foundation. As I said, that's the same group that's also pushing to build another the Puerto Rico spaceport. So we'll see what happens. Cross fingers, right? What else is there? Yes, I really would love to also to let you know I'm now the assigned director of the Mars Society Los Angeles chapter, and I would love to have people in the SRI community to be part of that. So we will also be working on curating workshops, both virtual and in person, with the Mars Society. This is the LA chapter, so I'm heading that, building it out. So that could be another area. Obviously, we all know Mars Society, they have lots of members and affiliate partners. And I think finally, where am I going with this? I want to wish everybody a very, very happy Christmas or a holiday and a new year. And I'm really excited for 2024. I see a lot of exciting things for SRI and for all the communities that are associated with this organization. And well done with everyone that's been involved with, trying to get the SDG, which number is it? 18? On board. I think there is, last but not least, this is what I want to do. I want to build a website for the SRI US chapter. So I'm going to maybe build a template with, I'm going to volunteer and pay for it. And Adriano and Bernard, I'll share with you, and you can give me your thoughts. And then we at least have a US, SRI website, right? And then we can talk about, how we build. I mean, I know how to get a 5013C for SRI chapter. We've got to try it. I don't want to go ahead and do anything without the team, the board, and everybody. But I don't think it will be too difficult to get that done. At least, maybe the first quarter of next year we can put that in sort of a roadmap, right? And the reason why is because I'm already submitting for a lot of grants through NASA through the business technology, and I would love to have SRI be part of that proposals, right? There's a lot of money in the innovation sector and in STEM astronautics training. So if we can get that set up at least by the first quarter of next year for SRI, US chapter, I think, we can bring in money or some form of revenue for the organization. So that's my update, and I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, yes. Happy New Year.
Thank you so much, Susan. By the way, I'm a member of the Mars Society, and I think many people here are a member of the Mars Society too. Thank you so much for your outreach. And
before we close,
Alberto has not spoken.
Okay, Alberto, please.
No, just I nothing more to add, because unfortunately I have no proposal now from my own, so it was just to wish all of you Merry Christmas.
Yeah, this is something nice. So, Adriano, before I close, give you a little words.
I think it's important to say a few words about peace, because we are sure, we at Space Renaissance are sure that achieving the big abundance of resources of the solar system will bring peace on Earth, because the reasons for resource wars will be will decrease because there is a lot of resources in space, and we don't need to fight for few resources on the surface of our planet. So, but even before that, I think it's important to say that we at Spaceal NASA, we stand for peace. And
Yes.
we are really enough of these nonsense wars that are going on in Ukraine and now in Israel. And we support very much the position of the UN, who voted for an immediate ceasefire in Israel and stop this butchering that is going on, because already almost 20,000 people died in the war. And this is terrible. This is anti-human. This is very bad, and we are pissed off this kind of things, and we want to say it loud. Please stop wars, because we are enough. We have to think to other things. We have to think about space. We have to think to development, not to kill each other. So please stop the wars. Stop the wars. Okay, so this is my personal message. And but I think that all of us, we are humanists, and we don't want this insane, really insane behaviors to go ahead on Earth.
Yes.
Okay.
I totally agree with you, and I think everyone here, and that's why I mentioned peace, because that is what I want for everyone, peace. We can make peace in this world. And I wish this for everyone, that we have a peaceful Christmas, this wars stop, and that we can develop our humanity, our societies, and that we can go to space and do science and art and beautiful things instead of killing each other. So I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Yes? Yes.
It's Susan here. I actually concur with all what you said. And yes, peace on earth. But I think one of the biggest challenges is finding peace in oneself. And if we can find that peace in ourselves individually, then as a collective whole, we can maybe move forward to finding peace for humanity. I think that has always been the biggest challenge. And so I wish everyone here to go and find their own inner peace. And then with that, share that as a collective whole for humanity. And then maybe we could see some progress. And, I always want to see the silver lining in the dark cloud, right? That means the hope should always be there. The spirit of hope should always be there, never be destroyed or eliminated. But that's what I wish for everybody. Peace for yourself.
We have to act our peace outward. If we keep our peace only for ourselves internally, so we need also to find a way to be activists of peace. And so we have a big community, and so I think Space Renaissance could have a special action on peace.
Yes. Jerry?
I'd just like to mention a quote from Frank White, who was actually mentioned earlier, that's very relevant to this, when he said that space exploration and war may be mutually exclusive, because if one happens on a large scale, the other probably will not. And obviously, we know which one we'd like to see happening.
Yes. Yes. Okay, I will close with this and wish you all a Merry Christmas. And again, I present my Santa Claus. Oh God, yeah, now here is it. And do you have one too?
Oh yeah, sorry, and we have to finish by
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars.
When from Jupiter to Mars,
no one knows the
text. Will be true. Anyway, I always felt I know the melody, but I always mess up the lyrics.
Well done.
You not know the words.
Okay, also good.
I will end with I love you.
Yes.
There you
Genau.
go.
And have a Merry Christmas and a good start into the new year, and hope to see you in January.
Yes.
Okay, bye.
See you on
Bye-bye.